Duluth, WIRT Hibbing.
What a day for football, and what a football game we have for you. Today at Griggs Field, here on the campus of the University of Minnesota Duluth, WDIO, WIRT TV proudly presents the UMD Bulldogs and the Minnesota Morris Cougars, a pair of Northern Intercollegiate Football Conference unbeatens, laying it on the line for sole possession of first place atop the NIC. Bulldog Football 85 is on the air. Today's game is being brought to you by North Country Zebra Dealers, St. Germain's, the News Tribune, and Muffler Clinic. Also brought to you by Rent-A-Center, Arrowhead Equipment, First Banks Financial, Zenith Roofing and Sheet Metal, Beck's Furniture, and Ranger Chevrolet, as well as the last place on earth, Bob Lewis Olds Mazda, Benson's Cabinet and Countertops and World of Movies, and by North Country Olds, Collier Business Toshiba, Walmart Productions Amy Grant Concert, and Northland Ford Dealers. Back after this.
Rental places are all alike. You ask for straight talk, they clam up. Watch.
Mr. Snark, welcome back to Rent-A-Center. What can I do for you today?
Tell me again about that rent-to-own stuff.
Well, you can rent new, brand-name merchandise without a credit check or long-term obligation and with the option to own. And we guarantee money-back satisfaction.
These guys will spill their guts to anyone. Remind me never to tell him a secret.
Rent-A-Center. We're not happy until you are.
St. Germain's Glass and Paint now has 2 locations to serve you better, downtown and also at the Village Mall. St. Germain's carries a complete line of Lucite exterior house and trim paint and all Lucite flat interior finishes and interior enamels. Talk to the experts at St. Germain's Glass and Paint about Lucite. Use Lucite this time, and next time will probably be a longer time coming.
In the Northland, people make life more interesting for their friends and community. People with a special outlook on life, a different way of doing things, or a remarkable story.
As old as he is.
Yeah, but better looking.
These interesting people are known by thousands because we share their stories with you every day.
Mr. Charlie, who's always been a hero.
The News Tribune and Herald, the Northland's newspaper.
The full-sized Ford LTD Crown Victoria. And at Ford, we haven't forgotten the family. Visit your hometown Northland Ford dealer soon.
Well, the standings pretty much tell the story. UMD and Minnesota Morris both atop the NIC standings with identical 3-0 records. Something's got to give here this afternoon. The winner this afternoon, of course, will have a big leg up for a Northern Intercollegiate Conference Championship. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another live telecast of UMD football. I'm Steve LePage, along with Lee Olling and Eric Gisselson. And gentlemen, we couldn't have had a better script written for this one.
Absolutely. You've got the ideal weather conditions. You've got the best offensive team with Morris against the best defensive team in UMD. You've got a guy named Dale Mayer from Morris who throws more passes than Eric Gisselson on New Year's Eve party. He puts the ball up every time he gets a hold of it. You've got a defensive team that really likes to smack people. So I'm looking forward to a great, great game today.
Couple glaring differences in the coaching philosophy. Coach Jim Molosky of the UMD Bulldogs hoping to contain the highly volatile pass game of Mayer and the Cougars, while Coach Jim Lynn of the Cougars just hopes this game could be a game of big breaks. Now, that's contrasting philosophies.
Well, one way or another, it's going to be a dandy. The weather is fantastic, and we are looking forward to a very good football game here this afternoon. We'll be back with the opening kickoff right after this timeout.
That skies about ready to open up in a downpour. Now, ordinarily, that rain wouldn't be a threat, but this roof leaks. That means thousands of dollars worth of damage if left unrepaired. Fortunately, Zenith Roofing and Sheet Metal was called in time. Whether it's roof repair or roof replacement, Zenith Roofing can solve your roofing problems, from neighborhood schools, industrial and commercial businesses, to the equally important smaller projects. For your sheet metal, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and roofing needs, call Zenith Roofing and Sheet Metal.
Well, both teams are getting their last-minute instructions on the sidelines, and Really, everything's on the line here. First place in the Northern Intercollegiate Conference. The winner, obviously, with 2 more games to play. By the way, UMD will go against Northern State and finish up against Bemidji State. Minnesota Morris will host Southwest State and finish up their season with a toughie up in Moorhead. So I would say right now, the winner of this game, if it was UMD, they would really have to have the best situation looking forward to them.
Definitely, and I think some important things that UMD has to do is they have to keep Mayer on the sidelines. There's no way he can throw touchdown passes from the sidelines. Obviously, to do that, UMD is going to have to use their ground control. Jim Molaski uses the ground control in the past to kind of control other people's defense, and I think he's going to have to do that today.
There's a look at Brad Johnson, ready to kick off for Minnesota Morris. The Bulldogs won the toss. They have elected to receive and defend the goal line to the north. Corey Veach, number 20, back in single safety, deep to receive the kickoff, flanked by Mike Petrich and Kevin Nevela.
Be kind of fun to see if the Bulldogs can get something going right here on a big kickoff and establish some good field position.
This game is underway. The kick drives. Petrich can't handle it. It rolls into the end zone. Corey Veach wisely gets down on one knee, and it'll be a touchback. The Bulldogs will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Here's a look at the UMD offensive line. Bill Sheehan, Jeff Donnell, Leon Banks, Paul Roth, Rhett Dolly, and the tight end Craig Greenwood across the front. In the backfield, Jim Molaski Jr., the sophomore quarterback. Halfbacks, Corey Veach, John Dolney, Mike Lowy, the fullback, and the split end, Mark Nilsson, the senior out of Superior.
Well, look for UMD to pound away. They might come a little bit later on with 2 tight ends and just come right at them. I would say UMD would play a 90% running game today.
High formation behind Molaski. The first game, or the first play of this big game, set to get underway. Fake handoff. Molaski's in trouble. He shakes one tackle, throwing downfield. Intercepted! Kevin Brands, the free safety, stepped in front of the aerial, picks it off, so the first big play of the game belongs to Minnesota Morris.
Well, Jim Molaski Jr. did a nice job of getting away that time. The only unfortunate thing is he rushed that pass. He threw it in an area where he had too much coverage, and Morris has great field position.
And here's a look at the Minnesota Morris offensive line. Doomer, Mark Brown, Dean Walters, Ken Heitzman, and Brad Johnson across the front. We'll get to the offensive backfield in just a moment. Dale Mayer, the All-American candidate at quarterback. He's got Kleinschmidt and Hickman in the backfield with him. Mayer, who loves to pass, back to pass. He rolls out of trouble, but he's not going anywhere. Mark Turcotte brings him down. Mayer will gain perhaps a yard.
Getting back to 2 plays ago, very surprising first call by a running-orientated coach.
Right, I just got through saying 90% of the time it'll be rushing, and he throws the ball. He likes to throw the ball, and if he has fairly good field position on the first play of any game. But there we have the offensive backfield. Mayer, Hickman, and Kleinschmidt, some lovely names to pronounce.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. The ball at the Bulldog 42. Mayer once again, straight drop back. He throws over the middle. He's got his man, the tight end, Mike Ross. He breaks away from one tackle down inside the 25.
You're going to see that an awful lot today. Number 86, Ross, Mike Ross, out of Ortonville, Minnesota, is his favorite, Mayer's favorite receiver. He's a tight end. He gets out of there very well, and he knows what to do after he gets the ball. He's a big guy, and he's tough to bring down.
1st and 10 at the Bulldog 24-yard line. Just underway here. UMD got the ball through an interception on the first play, and Minnesota Morris is driving. Ross goes in motion. A lot of shifting in the backfield for the Cougars. Over the middle, intended for Ross, but incomplete. Ross just was not ready to catch the football.
Well, getting back to Jim Molaski Jr.'s first throw of the game there, an interception, how much can that throw the Bulldogs' offensive team scheme of things early on here off, the timing?
I really don't think it's going to throw it off at all. If in fact, if they can hold Morris to no score, it's going to pump up the defense, and it's going to give the offense another chance, and they'll be willing, more than willing, to get something back going after that big mistake.
2nd down and 10. This time the handoff goes to Kleinschmidt. He's going to be decked for a loss on the play. Steve Peterson, the strong safety, came up on the blitz, and that was Feeblecore, number 35, who was racked up for a 3-4-yard loss.
I was in talking to Molaski earlier this week, and I asked him, I said, well, Coach, are you going to be blitzing much? His concern was that Mayer can really pick apart a defense, especially if you blitz too much. Well, he's blitzed 2 times of the first 2 series here, so maybe that's going to be indicative of later on the play.
Loss of 3 on the play. 3rd down and 13 for the Cougars. Mayer back to pass this time. He's got his man over the middle. Huber cannot hang on. Paul Huber isn't incomplete. He did not have control. A little quick slant-in pattern there, and Huber looked like he was open but could not handle it.
Well, that was a nice shot that time that he took. I'll tell you what, that's just a little slant-in pattern by number 81, and if he would have had that one, he would have had running room. As Molaski said, he'd still be running yet. So if UMD can hold them right now to even 3 points, has got to be a victory, but that's a long field goal. You're looking at a 45-yard field goal.
Number 18, John Vraw, is in to attempt the field goal. The place will be at the 35-yard line. This will be a 45-yard attempt. The kick is up. It's got distance, but it is going to be off to the left. So the kick is no good, and the Bulldogs will take over, so the turnover did not hurt them.
Right, and I think it's just like Morris. They came out, had a nice turnover there. They're going to try and stick whatever they had at UMD, give them their best series. UMD held them off, and I think the defense has got to be pumped up, and the offense is going to get right back in the groove again. And answering your question, Steve, I think it's didn't really hurt UMD anything and gave their defense something to do.
So the Bulldogs will get another crack at it. They have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line this time. Double tight end formation with Greenwood and Krause. Handoff goes to Corey Veach. Big hole up the right side. He's going to be over the 35 to about the 38-yard line, close to another 1st down.
Well, what Morris runs basically on defense, they run a 5-2 defense. Now usually you don't have as many linebackers, so your down men have to be more active. Their down 3 linemen are not very big. They run on average about 215 pounds. But they do what's called a slant or a bite. And if they slant, you catch them slanting or biting the wrong way, you're going to get a big gain, just like they did last time.
The gain was 11, and it is indeed another 1st down at the Bulldog 38-yard line. Coming in motion is Corey Veach this time. Molaski handoff this time goes to Rengo, number 22, out of Esco. He gains a couple on the play up near the 40-yard line. There's a look at Dennis Rengo, the junior out of Esco. Jim Molaski will use a lot of people in that backfield. Minnesota Morris, the leading offensive team in the conference. UMD, the leading defensive team. But right now, UMD is on offense and on the move. Molaski's going to take it himself. Good yardage. He breaks a couple of tackles up near midfield. He's got a 1st down.
Well, as I said, you have 3 down linemen, and sometimes they take a slant or a bite. That time, the down lineman took a slant. Mentry, I believe it was. He slanted the wrong way, and I don't know if that was an audible or what. I'm sure it was. Took it straight ahead. They got a 1st down. They're moving the ball. And as we said, if you can keep Mayer on the sidelines, it's really going to help your defense as well as your offense.
1st and 10, just outside midfield. Molaski wants to throw it. Intended for Veach, but it's going to be incomplete, and Veach takes a heck of a pop there by Brands.
Play really developed pretty well. They was open momentarily, and a good defensive play. Jim Molaski Jr. told me late this week that he knows his line is firing off when they are indeed that. So the line looks like right now up front in the trenches to be doing the job for the Maroon.
Here's a look at the defensive front 5. Paul Thielman, Pat Fleming, Dan Ness, the nose guard, Mike Mentry, and Doug Tigner up front for the Cougars. 2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs. The ball just outside of midfield. This time, Rengo gets the call. Rengo, big hole up the middle. Another 1st down as he's down inside the 40-yard line. The Bulldogs finding good openings right up the middle.
Right, it's really tough when you have a 3-down line to cover some of those people, especially if you double team down. The best down lineman for Morris is Mentry, and he's been blocked out there quite effectively, and they can keep popping those holes up. They may never have to put the ball in the air.
Well, Coach would like to see 4 or 5 yards on 1st down or 3 or 4 yards of play. The Bulldogs are getting 10, 11 yards every offensive play here. Jim Molaski's got to be happy with that. This time, John Dolney gets the call. Dolney fumbled the football. He was knocked back. No fumble on the play, but he ran into a brick wall after gaining a couple of yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
I'd say if I was Morris, what I'd look for now is some type of little rollout pass, or what UMD's 18 or 19, or a 23 special pass. If they looked at all at the films 2 weeks ago when the UMD destroyed Moorhead, that's how they did it, on a 23 special pass, or play action pass as they call it, or an 18-19. I would say they're looking to cover the flats more, and I think that's why the run's so effective.
continue to go with the double tight end formation. Veach, number 20, going in motion. Handoff up the middle. That's Dolney. Dolney struggles forward inside the 35, down to about the 32-yard line. It'll be a 3rd down and 3.
We mentioned the tough offense that Moorhead has, and the tough defense that Morris has, and tough defense that Bulldogs have. Bulldogs only allow 43 yards rushing a game, which speaks very highly of their defense. That puts them 4th in the NC2A Division II team. So UMD's defense is doing a job, and right now their offense is on the field doing a job.
Ball is at the 33-yard line of Minnesota Morris. No score in this game. 9:58 left to go in the opening quarter. Handoff. Rango. A big hole once again. Down inside the 30 to almost the 26-yard line. So Dennis Rango gets the first down.
Continued success over the left-hand side of the line there, guys. Jeff Donnell, Leon Banks, Billy Sheehan doing a great job four-wheel driving.
I'll tell you, and it was a nice block for that time, but I'll tell you, Ventry took himself right out of the play again. He's just slanting or biting. They're catching the wrong positions, and boy, that creates even more of a hole.
1st and 10 at the 26. A vintage Jim Molosky drive in progress. We've got whistles, and I believe the Cougar defense may have gone over the neutral zone.
Well, they did, Steve, and that time they were going to try, Morris was going to try and do something about the situation. They're going to try and blitz some people. If UMD didn't draw them off, it'll be a nice break for them, but the way it looks right there, they're talking to the officials, and UMD may have drawn them off, but I don't think so.
Jim Molosky voicing his opinion as usual.
Offsetting penalties, encroachment being indicated against the Cougars, illegal procedure against the Bulldogs.
He doesn't mince words, does he, guys?
No, you can hear him across the way, and he's not happy with the fact that offsetting penalties were called. He thought it should have been offside.
We had offside, defense, illegal procedure, offense, offsetting, replay the down.
There you saw Molosky, and there you see Molosky obviously has better moments in a game of like his stature.
The winningest active coach among Division II coaches in the country, 172 victories in 28 seasons.
It's a lot of years of coaching.
The down remains the same, 1st and 10 at the 26. Play action fake. Molosky wants to throw. Molosky may have to run it. He's going to take it himself, and he's going to be down near the 20-yard line, so Jim Molosky doing a little improvising, gains 6 yards on his own.
Now, we've seen from week to week how much he's matured. Now, that time, as we mentioned earlier in the year, he might have thrown it. Here he sees that no one is open, so he runs it, and he picks up some yardage. I think he's maturing, and he's going to be a good one. I don't know if it has anything to do with Molosky's son or not, but I'll tell you, he was a good athlete, the father and the son, and I think it rubs off. I know my son will be a tremendous athlete also.
Jim Molosky Jr., only a sophomore out of Duluth Central, where he had such a fine career with the Trojans. He gained 6 on the play, 2nd down and 4. Corey Veach inside the 15, dives forward to about the 12. He's got another Bulldog first down.
Well, I'll tell you, they're doing some good jobs of blocking in there. You've got Dolly, Roth, Banks, Donnell, Sheehan. They're just doing a tremendous job moving people out of there. And I'll tell you one thing, you'll see it a lot today, and as you see Corey Veach there, 64 carries for 247 yards, you'll see that either it looks like a tremendous block or it looks like somebody missed a block. Well, that's the down lineman taking a bite, or as I said, a slant. They're slanting away from the play. You got a nice big hole.
The ball is at the 12-yard line. So after throwing an interception on their opening possession, UMD is marching right down the field on their second possession. This time Rango trying to get around the corner. He does. He's going to be inside the 5, down to about the 4.5-yard line. Dennis Rango showing some pretty good foot speed.
I'll tell you, it was all foot speed. If that was anybody with less foot speed, he would have been dropped for a 5 or 10-yard loss. He got a lot of that on his own, and Morris is going to have to start scrambling some linebackers. There you see Dennis Rango, he's a junior from Esco. Boy, he's doing a nice job getting to that corner.
Jim Lynn obviously concerned on the Cougar sidelines here, taking a look at a potentially touchdown-making situation.
Veach going nowhere. He runs right into big Jim Williamson, the linebacker, and he will lose a yard or two.
I think they're going to have to get more work out of their linebackers that time. He was shaking up on the play. As you see him coming off there, he took quite a shot, Corey Veach from Appleton, Minnesota. And he's hurting. Those are one of those things when you look at the ball player and you put a finger in front of him, and you ask him how many fingers, and if he says your name instead of the finger, then you pull him out of there.
Time for the smelling
salts. So what? How many fingers? And he says Dave, and get him out of there.
Third down and goal. The ball just inside the 5-yard line. Corey Veach once again finding it tough sledding on the left side. He gets down to about the 2 or 3 yard line. That's going to set up a 4th down situation, and we'll see what Jim Molosky decides to do here.
Well, I would think that knowing Jim that he's going to go for it, it's going to be short. That's going to give him some time to think. And I would look for a little bit of play action pass here if he doesn't get it, or a little tight end delay.
He needed to get to the 2 for a 1st and goal. I believe he's about a half a yard short, probably less than a football length, so it's going to be 4th down and just a smidgen for a first down.
It's short.
Yeah, I agree with you. They have to go for this. Certainly 4 more plays for 6 inches is worth the consequences, I would believe.
Well, then if you don't get it, they're deep in their own territory, too. And if they didn't score from their own 30-yard line, you would think that they're not going to score from their own 2 or 3. He may just give it to Mo Jr. and have him quarterback sneak it, or give him the option to audible into a play-action pass.
Well, Bud Grant's had a few of these situations the last couple of weeks.
No, the only way you win is if you score.
Right. We hope Jim Molosky's a little more successful. He only needs about a foot. Molosky takes it himself. He's got the first down, I believe. You get that big 6'4" frame straightened out. It is a 1st and goal for the Bulldogs.
Oh, I think you're right. You got Molosky behind Leon Banks here. He's 220 pounds, and he does the job. It's pretty tough to stop somebody, especially to stand somebody straight back and not gain about a half an inch. See, everything works out fine when you make it. Then there's no controversy. You don't have to worry about being in the paper or anything.
Both teams 3-0 going into this game. Minnesota Morris, of course, co-champions last year, along with Moorhead State. Oops! Paul Sheehan jumped too soon, so that's going to put the Bulldogs back 5 more yards, make their task a little bit more difficult.
Boy, you could bet he's going to hear that when the films roll on Sunday. That's one thing you don't want to do is make a mistake like that, because you can just pretty much take 4 shots at it and punch it in. Now they have to...
Dead ball. Illegal procedure. Red.
Now they have to change up the play calling, but one thing that you can look for, UMD is using up a lot of clock time. There's 7 minutes and 34 seconds left in the first quarter. This has been a tremendous drive for UMD.
Very importantly, keeping that potent offense of Morris off the field. Double reverse. Rango's going to get the call. He's got some blockers, and he's going to be in for the touchdown.
Typical UMD reverse, always reverse. As you've seen before, reverse to the short side of the field. Beautiful play call by Molosky, and he just trusts right in the end zone. He has a lot of people in front of him. Nice play UMD, and they go up 6-0.
Nice wall set up there. They had it strung out real nice, and he had a corner right to the G in the corner of the end zone, and Ringo followed it well.
Here we have it right here. The reverse. He's coming back to the short side of the field. There we go. He's over there, just trots in.
Mark Holston out of Stillwater in to attempt the extra point. And he does so successfully. So, with 7:20 left to go in the first quarter, UMD leads it 7-0. We'll be back in just a moment.
Where do sportsmen and deer hunters go for the Northland's largest selection of Honda all-terrain vehicles? RJ Sport and Cycle. Before you go out in the woods or on the back roads, come to RJ Sport and Cycle to see all 12 models of Honda ATVs and ATC three-wheelers. And if you're after a four-wheel vehicle with non-stop traction, Honda's 4Trax 250 can take you off the roads where you've never been before. So whether you're out for work or for adventure, we've got it all for you at RJ Sport and Cycle.
Well, after stalling on their first attempt, as a matter of fact, after throwing an interception on their first offensive play, the Bulldogs get the football back and march 73 yards for the score. They lead Minnesota Morris 7-0.
Well, not only is that good football, as far as holding them on defense, the offense had a tremendous drive there. They had a couple of nuisance penalties, backed them up. They still kept their poise and punched it right in. Now that UMD, I'll tell you, is playing some great football again. This is no slouch of a Moorhead. Got that in my mind, of a Morris defense either. They haven't given up that many points, but that's because Morris usually has the ball.
Back to receive the kickoff, 42 Hickman, number 21 Paul Gasperlin, and number 35 Feeblecorn. He's going to take it at the 10. Up to the 20, the 25, and about the 27-yard line before he's dropped, and that's where the Cougars will take over 1st and 10.
Another good point about that time-consuming first drive that the Bulldogs scored upon is that the Cougars will have the wind at their backs for the first and third quarters now, and they don't have a whole lot of time to throw with the wind at their backs remaining in this first quarter.
Whatever wind we have here is, I think you're right, Eric. Now we'll see what Morris does when they go back to work.
Dale Mayer brings him out. Wide receivers both ways. Deuce backfield. Back to pass. Mayer is in trouble. He's going to have to run it himself, and he's going to be dropped. Mark Turcotte once again, along with a host of others, drop him for little or no gain.
I'll tell you can credit Kevin Neville that time for making him run the ball, because Neville had him covered what we call inside out. He made him do an out pattern that time. And there, as you see, the defensive line wraps Turcotte, DeRongs, and break. Racky. Break. I'll call his mom up and get there.
It's break. He actually lost a yard on the play. 2nd down and 11 for the Cougars. Handoff goes to Hickman. A slight delay there. He's going to be up to about the 30-yard line before he runs into a host of Bulldogs. Peichel there, number 44, along with Raps and Claflin.
So far, evidence of the #1 defense in the NIC guys. The Bulldogs come to play today defensive-wise too.
I think UMD's defense has them confused. They're, as you see, the linebackers, Preston Potashnik and Peichel.
Gain of 4 to be 3rd down and 7 for the Cougars. A big play here. Mayer back to pass. He throws over the head of number 83, Bill Coltman. So he had his target, but overthrew him, and that's going to be 4th down and 7.
Well, you can bet that UMD's been working on pass defense this week. They've done a tremendous job. There you see Jim Lynn, 13-11-1 is against his record. I think UMD is confusing them. They're trying to go with a draw. That doesn't work. They try a pass. They've tried to run. UMD's defense just been tremendous today.
Mike Ross, the tight end, back in punt formation. Single safety Corey Veach, the lone Bulldog, back to receive the kick. Ross off the left foot gets a wobbler that's going to go out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. So the UMD Bulldogs will have very good field position. Once again, they lead this game 7-0. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 43.
That's one thing that Morris really doesn't want to do, is give up the ball in 3 downs, and credit UMD's defense. Like I said, I think they're confusing them. They're playing their timing patterns inside out, which makes it difficult. You throw a timing pattern like that, a little breakout, that could be intercepted for a TD. I don't know, they just look confused. Maybe it's because they don't have their brand new jerseys with.
The Bulldogs come out once again in that double tight end formation with Krause and Greenwood. Coming in motion is Dennis Rango. Molaski, trouble with the snap. He's going to take it himself and gain a couple of yards on the play. So Jim Molaski showed some pretty good presence of mind to come up with that loose football and get something out of nothing.
The difference, really, of an early season Jim Molaski Jr. and a mid-season Jim Molaski Jr. And that might have been not quite as easy a move 4 games ago.
There you see his statistics. Not really too bad. 9 interceptions, really glaring statistic, but he has thrown for 6 touchdowns.
And you know, for a boy of Molaski's stature, step right in. He takes a lot of heat too, because he's a coach's son and all these different things. But I'll tell you, he does a great job out there, and he works hard at it.
He gained 2 on the play. 2nd and 8 at the 45. Molaski is going to throw, rolling left, and he's going to go down. No one to throw to, and Morris had people all over the place. Number 69 in on the tackle was Pat Fleming, along with number 89, Paul Thielman.
Now, there's not much you can do when your receivers are covered. One thing he did is he didn't just throw the ball up for grabs. At least we still have the ball. It's 3rd and long, but we still have the ball. I'd look for a draw or a little screen pass or something here. Remember, UMD still has the ball, and it's 5 minutes, 16 seconds left to go in the first quarter, and they also have the lead.
3rd down and 14 coming up. Handoff goes to Rengo. Rengo skips away from one tackler up near the 45, but it's going to be far shy of the first down yardage. It'll be 4th down and about 8, and we're going to see for the first time this afternoon Steve Craigseth, the punter.
And boy, what a day for football. It's warmer out here than it is in my house. It's got to be 60-some degrees, beautiful crowd, beautiful field conditions. I'll tell you, you couldn't ask for a better football matchup or a football day than this.
Craigseth standing at his own 30, back deep. Rob Veith, number 24, and Bill Kalkman, number 83. Veith returned one for a touchdown last week. Veith will take it at his own 15, but he's going nowhere. Good special teams coverage that time by the Bulldogs. A host of people down there to greet him, led by number 49 for the Bulldogs, Bill Mestel, the freshman out of Ashland.
John DeRung's also in on the tackle there, number 70. He's up there in the tackles. I was taking a look at the paper this week and tackles on the defense. Top was Preston, and there was Potachnik, and DeRung's was like about 4th behind Turcotte.
No, we've heard so much, and I think the UMD defense has all week, too, about this potent Minnesota Morris offense. And the same situation was true 2 weeks ago when Moorhead came in, a very highly touted offense, but they are a very proud unit out there, and so far they have dictated the play.
They certainly have.
Cougars have it 1st and 10 at their own 17. DeRung shoots across the line, and he claims he was drawn offsides.
I'd point too. Anytime you jump offside, first thing you do is point down that guy. I think he's going to be right. The officials are going to back him up there. We had a little bit of movement there from
big number 74, Mark Brown.
Mark Brown, from the scouting report that I got, one of the best tackles that they have.
Well, that's going to back him up.
We got a dead ball foul. Offense. Illegal procedure.
1st down and 15. The Cougars a bit frustrated right now. Mayer back to pass. Mayer better hurry. He gets it off. He's got Ross as tight end up to the 25. Ross just dragging people along with him up near the 30.
Well, if you could read Molaski's lips that time, he was yelling out, watch a tight end, watch a tight end. And it was Mike Ross that time. It was a tight end that got that ball, and he's tough to bring down. And so Molaski definitely knows his stuff.
That will be a Cougar 1st down at their own 29-yard line.
Classic pass set there shown by the Cougars. They had a bunch. It was student body right there. You knew they were going to go right, and they did with good success.
Dale Mayer on 1st down. He wants to go to the air again. He does so. Incomplete. Intended for Huber. The pass a bit too tall for him.
All UMD has to do is get themselves in a position to either make the play or be behind and make that interception. Mayer had a bad week last week against Bemidji, but credit Bemidji with making him have a bad day. And that's where Molaski is a little bit afraid. Mayer coming in today that maybe he'd have a good day after having a poor week last week.
Despite the bad week, the Cougars averaging 532 yards total offense. Mayer back to pass again. He's got his man on the sidelines, and it's going to be complete for a 1st down. That's number 84, Basil Meyer.
Pure passer there, boy. That's where you hear his accolades. They really come true, and a nice timing pass like that. That was a well-thrown ball.
It's almost impossible to cover something like that, too. You say, well, get up on it. Well, how can you get up if the ball is thrown before he even makes his break? It's just a lovely pass, and that's why he's recruited heavily by quite a few pro scouts.
1st and 10 at their own 43. The Cougars on the move after being back in a hole. Handoff goes to Hickman. Hickman's going to be swamped for a loss on the play. Break was there, number 58, Turcotte, along with Preston. He'll lose yardage.
Yeah, Tom Raps was there too. I mean, everybody was there that time. They did a nice job of wrapping them up. I didn't know, pun intended. But you're right, when you were mentioning earlier about a proud UMD defense, they certainly are. And when you have a lot of pride in your defense, you do anything to stop anybody's offense. They come out and they stick people and they get those legs driving and push them back for a loss instead of a gain.
Loss of 3 to be exact, 2nd down and 13. Ross going in motion. Mayer, blitz is on. Mayer's going to have to take it himself, and he will gain a couple on the play, but he was running for his life. He was tripped up by Turcotte.
Now, one thing you try and tell your ball players, as Turcotte was almost there to make the play, he dove and tripped him up, is if you have to dive for somebody, take one more step before you die, before you think you're going to dive, because if you dive and miss, you're taking yourself right out of the play. But a beautiful, beautiful pursuit that time by Turcotte. And UMD blitzed that time, made him run out of the pocket. He's basically a drop back, or what's called a semi-rollout. He'll roll out sometimes if there's a play action or if the defense dictates it, but mostly a straight drop back pass, and who we had shotgun.
Mayer got back to the original line of scrimmage, 3rd down and 10, out of the shotgun. Mayer rolling right. Mayer stops, plants. Now he's going to run it. He's going to be up near midfield, but he's going to be stopped there by Phil Peichel, who put a real good crunch on him.
He's run out of bounds by Peichel.
Well, you got the feeling every time that Mayer dropped back in that pocket, you could hear footsteps. That time they go to the shotgun and allow him a little more time. But again, defense dictating things. The Bulldogs secondary covering them up real well.
Oh, I'll tell you, Peichel, Shardak, Neville, Peterson, and Claflin are doing a tremendous job back there. Anytime he steps back like that and has to look for his secondary or even his 3rd receiver, tertiary receiver we call it, you know the defense has done their job.
Mike Ross in to do the punting.
Can't even say tertiary.
That's what I'm an English teacher paid for.
Ross gets it away, a high hanger. Petrich is going to take it at his 15, and he's going to be dropped there immediately on the play by Dean Walters, number 52. We're going to take this opportunity to pause. We'll be back from Griggs Field in just a moment.
I'm Tom George here at the Eating Emporium, and I'd like to show you what my family's been doing for 4 generations. Besides serving a wide variety of delicious homemade food, we've been selling the Cadillac of pool tables, Brunswick, here at St. Louis Billiards. Come on in if you'd like to learn how to play pool, have some good food, or purchase a top quality pool table. We offer a lifetime guarantee with 5 generations of service.
Eating Emporium and St. Louis Billiards in the Skywalk, Duluth.
Exhaust problems? Well, come out from under there and head to the Muffler Clinic with 2 convenient locations. The Muffler Clinic can tackle just about any exhaust job you throw at them, and you're not stranded while your car is being worked on. At Muffler Clinic 2, stop by the Miller Hill or Village Malls. Both are just a few steps away. And the original Muffler Clinic downtown is close to the Holiday Mall and the Skywalk system. When you need your exhaust system fixed, do it right at the Muffler Clinic downtown and Muffler Clinic 2 just behind Ponderosa between the Village and the Miller Hill Mall.
1 minute and 50 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. UMD leading this football game 7-0. A key NIC encounter between the 2 unbeatens. The Bulldogs will have the football, 1st and 10 at their own 14. Jim Molosky brings them out in that double tight end formation, which has been so successful thus far. Corey Veach gets the call. Corey's going to be up to about the 20 before Williamson knocks him down. A pretty good yardage on 1st down.
You know, Corey Veach, he was hurt a little bit earlier in the season. He's really come on strong, and not that he was ever in doubt, but he is really filling some nice holes back there and doing a really nice job.
Now, Corey's a little guy, but he leads the Bulldogs in rushing, averaging 3.6 yards per carry. He's also one of the leading receivers with 14 catches for 189 yards, and he also returns punts and kickoffs, so talk about versatility.
And you see that a lot with Molosky's backs. He uses them to their max, and when Corey first came out from Hermantown, everyone was saying, oh, he's too small, he'll never play. Well, he's certainly shown them different.
The Bulldogs take a timeout.
And another thing about him, he plays that safety valve on the kicks too. That he's made a couple. I recall a couple game, or at least touchdown-saving tackles in the games we've done.
Now, Jim Molosky Jr. didn't like something he saw. He decided to go over and talk with Dad about it, and Dad's not too happy. There you see Jim Molosky's career record: 172 wins, 70 losses, and 8 ties. You can't knock that.
Well, I went in and talked to Molosky earlier this week, as I said, and one of the things that he was concerned with is he said we don't really match up well against Morris. Man-to-man, we don't match up well, and plus he was afraid that Mayer might be able to pick him apart on pass defense. He had a note of concern on his face when he was talking to me, and usually he kids around and laughs a little bit when you talk to him, but he's a little bit worried this week, and I think you get a coach worried, and he's probably at his best. And Molosky's been worrying 172 times.
2nd down and a long 3 for the Bulldogs. The ball at their own 20. Rengo going in motion. Handoff goes to Veach. Veach squirts forward for a couple. He's going to be up to about the 23, but he's still going to be shy of a 1st down.
Corey Peach is the ball carrier. The tackle is
Well, I wouldn't look for UMD
Mike
to do too much. If they do put it up, they're probably going to put it up on a little flat pattern or something. Or, you never know, they might have a reverse to the short side of the field over here again, too.
Key play for the Dogs, 3rd down and a yard. Closing seconds of the first quarter. Handoff goes to Rango. Rango's popped, and he's not going to get it. Heck of a hit there by Mike Nader, the nose guard.
Well, I'll tell you, they were ready for that one. Maybe they should have reversed it over to the short side of the field. They were all set for that, gave him a pop. So UMD have to punt the ball away here. What they want.
Well, we're back. We're through with 1 quarter of football. UMD leading at 7-0, and they are in